And with that, I'm going to welcome today to our J.O.L.T, Just One Little Topic series at the Rec Innovation Lab. I'll welcome Max Mirho, who we've been lucky enough to have with us several times actually at the Rec Innovation Lab, giving workshops, talking with students, and just sharing his experience as an entrepreneur. And before we dive into it, I'd love it if, Max, you could introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, totally. So Max Mirho, I I host a little show on the internet called Entrepreneur, where every week on Wednesdays we spend like an hour and a half and we just try to start small ideas. We run rapid, teeny little experiments into entrepreneurship. We prototype things really quickly using no-code tools sometimes. We're throwing up landing pages, we're interviewing customers, we're trying to do as much as we possibly can live to show you exactly what it means to start something small, right? And I haven't done anything huge, but we've done a lot of small things and we've learned a ton about entrepreneurship and we've gotten pretty good at it. So that's my shtick.
Well, and I love what you do too, because you follow a lot of the same methods that we follow and that we teach at the Rec Innovation Lab, because they work, right? They're based on sound principles, the lean methodology, and you're testing your assumptions. You're not just building things willy-nilly. You're building them and then testing them out there on the sometimes unwitting consumers, right? But I mean, that's awesome. It's awesome, and I love how you do it. So, what we wanted to talk a little bit about now, we just spend a little bit of time chatting. Right now, we've been focusing on the changes that a lot of entrepreneurs, all entrepreneurs, are facing because of this new virtual environment, and some of the challenges that some of the student entrepreneurs are facing, being in this really strange new time of social distancing and just a new world of entrepreneurship. And I'd love to hear if there's been anything that you personally have experienced this year that's been maybe positive and maybe unexpected that came out of the business in 2020.
Yeah, totally. So a whole bunch of stuff got shut down for me when everything hit, and that's just, I feel like that's happened to everybody, and that kind of sucks. But it'll eventually get started back again. It's not too worrisome. I'm in a good position. The number one thing though that's kind of been really exciting for me is now that everything is virtual, I can kind of speak. I was just getting started with speaking gigs and doing presentations and talking in classes, entrepreneurship classes usually around the country. And now that everything's virtual, nobody really expects me to be there in person. So I can do tons and tons of little virtual gigs around the country. And I've been able to.
And where are you right now? Where are you located in the country?
I'm located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I was telling you a little bit earlier, I just gave a presentation to a university near Dubai, and it worked out. And they were like, yeah, no, everything's virtual right now. Why not? So it doesn't really change too much for them, but that's been really positive. I've been able to get a lot of speaking gigs a lot easier. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of speaking gigs with you here in San Diego, and I remember the first time when we were talking, and I actually was for a second I thought you were in San Diego. You sound San Diego to me.
Yeah, I'm from the West Coast. Yeah.
So yeah, but you're right. It doesn't matter where we are now, and I think a lot of us are starting to realize that. And do you think that we're going to a lot of the things that we're doing now is going to maybe stick? We'll keep some of these things.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like for speaking gigs specifically, I don't know. I've been thinking about it because it makes sense. I feel like education is definitely going to shift to a little bit online, or allow more online interaction, right? And I feel like the same thing is going to happen with work. I think about half of it's going to go back to normal afterwards. But I think some companies and universities and students are going to realize that remote is sometimes more convenient. And I think it's going to be kind of a half and half mixture moving forward after everything calms down. I don't know, like speaking gigs though, I feel like people are going to still prefer in person. So like it feels nice that I'm able to build like a bigger network now, and maybe then afterwards I'll do more in person, and that'll kind of go from there. Don't know. I can't really kind of predict it, but I expect.
You don't have a crystal ball? You can't predict. I said you don't have a crystal ball. You can't predict.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many predictions. Every article I read is like, this is what it's going to be like after everything calms down. Like, you don't know. Stop.
So
we have no idea. Yeah.
I know, none of us know. So I'd love it if you could tell us a little bit, looking back, did you have especially for the students, did you, as a student, when you were back as a student, did you have any particularly rough semesters?
Oh, yes.
And if so, what did you do to turn those around? How did you get through that rough patch?
Yeah, totally. So great question. So I had an especially kind of rough time in college, like relationship wise. There was a lot of stuff going on with me, and it was very complicated. Um, and school was fine. School was all right. I was getting like decent grades. A lot of some classes really got me screwed over. But I was doing okay. But towards the end of for me, like I started to like find fun in building stuff, right? And that's why I do the live show, because I started doing that on the internet just because I thought it was fun, and I enjoyed that, right? It became my hobby, and it's like productive, and it's professional and whatever, but it's a fun hobby for me.
Yeah.
I Towards the end of my sophomore year, things were going like okay. There was a little bit of stress, a little bit of stuff happening in my life, and I wasn't really learning some of the stuff that I wanted to in school. So I started to reach out to people, and that became like unbelievably fun. And reach out to people in terms of entrepreneurs. I messaged I emailed 3 entrepreneurs locally in my kind of my city that had to do with my university, right? That were connected to the alumni network. And I said, hey, I want to learn everything you could possibly tell me about everything, right? And I started to kind of experiment from there, and just not in terms of entrepreneurship, not in terms of everything else, but like emailing people using your little student email. You would be shocked the kind of people that will respond to you. Like I know stories of students. I've read some books, and stories of students will like just email in a very succinct way, like the CEO of Google, right, or Amazon, and just be like, hey, quick question for you. I'm a student trying to figure things out, and like the people you can get in touch with is insane. So in terms of your hobby, it doesn't have to be professional, but I think the best thing that got me through it is like try to hop on calls with people you think are really cool, right? I just discovered there's this tool online called itch.io, and itch.io is like it's a place where indie game makers can launch their games, and it's a really, really cool thing. I was thinking of building something like that on the stream. They already have it covered. I'm going to let them do that, but I really liked how they built it, and I really liked everything that it was. And so this morning I emailed the guy that runs it, and I was like, hey, found your personal website, absolutely love what you're doing, could we maybe hop on a call sometime? That kind of stuff is like incredibly fun for me. And if your hobby is snowboarding, email a couple of Olympic athletes and be like, hey, I watched you in this. I guarantee you, if you email enough of them, you'll get 1 or 2 of them to respond, and it's going to be a really cool story to tell, or you'll get a really great conversation out of it. That's just something that I do. So
that's great. You know, I've seen it myself in all the classes that I teach. We give one of the assignments is to interview an entrepreneur, and sometimes it shocks me the connections that students can make just by using that student card, right? Use the student card while you have it. It's definitely a valuable asset. And where did you go to school? Can you share that with me?
Yes, I went to school at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. So that's why I'm here.
Great school.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So maybe we'll kind of wrap it up with, if you wouldn't mind giving a piece of advice to students right now, especially students who might be going through some tough times themselves. Any advice you can give them to maybe finish off strong?
Yeah. Basically, the best thing that I can kind of say is just make your people happy. I know grades are important to like your parents or your circles or your program, whatever it is. Just get the bare minimum right now. Don't worry about anything else. Everything's crazy right now. Don't put any extra expectations on yourself. Just make your people happy.
That's great advice. Yeah. Sometimes we put extra on ourselves that we don't need to do. And sometimes showing up is enough, right? Just
exactly.
Getting through
just
it.
Do that right now. Yeah. Just worry about yourself as much as you can right now.
That's actually really great advice. Thank you so much, Max. Thank you for being with us. And we'll see everyone again next week for the next Jolt topic. And Max, we'll see you for the next workshop. Do you know the date for your next workshop coming up?
I just got an email on it. Yeah, I don't have it on my calendar right now.
Well, you know, if you want to find out the date, I can't remember either, but if you want to find out the date, we do have it. Say that again?
21st. It's the 21st. So next week on Monday. Yeah.
Okay. So you can join us all for Max's workshop on the 21st at the Rec Innovation Lab. And we will see you all again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, of course. Thanks for being here. Take care.